have some things to tell you about whiskey today. Today, we are going to feature the Blaum Brothers Distilling Company out of Galena, Illinois. This is a straight bourbon whiskey. And I'll be honest with you, when I heard about them, read their website end to end, I really was not sure what to expect at all. So this is their whiskey, and if you will notice, it has a lovely color. And of course, probably I've mentioned this to you before, color from whiskey is going to come from the barrel, and so it's got a lot of color, and a lot of times that will also give it the a little bit of an ashy flavor from the wood. But this was a very unexpected whiskey for me, very unusual, and not in a bad way. First of all, the nose. Now, I read a couple tasting notes, and some people said sweet cornbread. I can see that, but I'll be honest with you. I used to make a lot of Play-Doh for my children when they were young, and I smell Play-Doh. Homemade Play-Doh, good kind, not store-bought Play-Doh. And maybe flavor. I actually used to flavor our Play-Doh with like a cherry flavoring. So I would not say this is fresh cherries. This is like maybe a little bit of cherry and almond extract. But it is a really good smell. I would not normally say Play-Doh is a good smell, but this has a really wonderful nose to it. I'm drinking out of the Glencairn, so I'm giving it absolute respect. The Glencairn is something that is traditionally used in whiskey, Scotch whiskey served in. But we're staying at an Airbnb here in Galena, and they had Glencairns in the cupboard, so I was not disinclined not to use them. So that's what we're drinking from today. And in the place that we're drinking it tonight is the Airbnb we are staying at is the former site of the Illinois Brewery. And so this building was built in 1842 by Peter Specht. And for those of you who are German, which is not me, that is Specht. And he actually owned a number of the buildings across the street from here. But this building has a lovely vaulted limestone ceiling. And I read a little bit about vaulted ceilings, brick ceilings, and I couldn't find as much as I wanted to about it. But if you think about it, a very safe place to store your whiskey. If there was a fire somewhere in the house, in the building, whiskey would be safe, which is very important when you're brewing whiskey or beer. So yes, this is still intact today. Almost 200 years later. And so we are tasting it here. And then in Galena, Illinois, the thing that's very important for you to know is Galena, Illinois sits in the driftless zone. So the driftless zone is the intersection of the four corners of southeastern Minnesota, southwestern Wisconsin, northeastern Iowa, and northwestern Illinois. It's called the driftless region, and the reason it is called that is that when the glaciers came down through America, it butted up against a slightly elevation in this area, and it stopped. And it ended up going around this area. And so, whereas the drift that you have from the glaciers throughout most of the United States, it basically plowed through and evened off the land, the driftless region is intact. It's known for having the highest concentration of fresh water, streams, rivers, etc., of anywhere in the world. And so that, for those of you who know whiskey, you know that we always prize the water that we use for whiskey. And so here, they are riddled with limestone. Limestone is a natural purifier of water. So they've got the water down. They've got the water down. Two brothers are running this distillery, the Blaum Brothers. One of them has a really admirable beard. My husband would love to have a beard that good. They're pretty rustic, and yes, their websites, one of the claims to fame is that the Blaum Brothers distillery is the #1 tourist destination on TripAdvisor. So I wasn't impressed by the refined aspect of their website, but my daughters gave this to me for my birthday. And they did some research, and they were absolutely right. If you take a sip of this, very, very palatable. It's a pretty high concentration, I believe it's a, yes, we are 100 proof. Normally when you have a higher proof whiskey, you're going to expect to be pretty bitter. This is not bitter. Now that was not my first taste, so I'm still savoring it, don't get me wrong, but really nice corn. And I usually don't really, I'm a Scotch drinker by trade. I'm not always that fond of a corn flavor, but this is like a sweet roasted corn. It's really nice, and it's really smooth. It's going down very, very well. I highly recommend this. I'm not sure where they're all available, certainly here in Illinois, but yes, bottle runs around $50 here in Galena, and I highly recommend it. I'm not going to pick up a bottle. That's the Blaum Brothers, Blaum. I also did a little looking up on that. Interesting name. Blaum is a German surname, and it is linked to flowering. So if you think about the hops and all the wonderful natural ingredients that go into a beer, it's sort of an appropriate name to assign to a whiskey. Because of course whiskey is just taking those brews to another level. So, anyways, highly recommended. Pick up a bottle and check it out. Blaum Brothers Straight Bourbon Whiskey.